Are you ready to see new all-time highs? Because I think that's what's coming, and I think they had a goal for today, and I think that goal was completely achieved. So we're going to talk about that and more as we get into some technical analysis for the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, and going over into AMC and GME just to look at some stuff over there, maybe pop into a few other things. So let's get into it. I have not updated the daily expected moves, and the reason for that is I really wanted to show this off. I really wanted to show how good the market really behaved today around these daily expected moves, right? We see moments like this, right, where they get up to that daily expected move, and then we see that drop off, and then we turn back up, and maybe we end the day up here. But this time we actually see that move up to here, and we go all the way down to the bottom side daily expected move. So very, very cool. I'm going to update those daily expected moves for you. And just to let you know, those daily expected moves for every stock that we do cover on this channel, right? Every stock that's over on Patreon, we do give you daily expected moves for Friday. If you do have expiration, it is very, very useful to have on a Friday. And I'm going to tell you right now, there is some pretty damn big implied volatility going into tomorrow. And we'll notice a similar range, right? But this one is going to be lower, and this can be a very, very scary thing, because that means for the day we could end up touching down towards 578.05, and that would make total sense. So something we want to pay attention to is the 30-minute. Now you'll notice I wish that I could have been live this morning, but for some reason YouTube was not allowing me to go live for more than like 1 minute or something like that, so I had to delete the stream like off my channel 4 times. I'm sorry about that, but tomorrow you're getting a longer stream. So if you're new here, you got some questions, you want me to look at a stock for you, come tomorrow, because we're going to be live a long time tomorrow. Now, something key here, we are below the weekly expected move, and what day are we going into? Friday. So where is the most likely area to land? What is the most probable area to land tomorrow? It would be right here. And we do have those updated daily expected moves. Notice that high is becoming important again, 591.23 to the upside, 578.05 to the downside. Notice this though, we held the divergence point on the MACD. We got to zoom in on the RSI to see if we can hold that. Ooh, kind of gave it up there, but we're still holding the one across, and we're turning in the upward direction. What is the ultimate goal here? The ultimate goal here, I think, was the options actually looked a little funky here. So we'll look at the PCC throughout the day, and we'll notice a lot of call side activity, right? A lot of call side activity. And then they don't like that, right? They don't like that. At a bottom, you really want to see this go up to put. So now that goal might be achieved. Is the selling done? We'll find out. But I think that was why this drop came in. And you have to be aware of things like this, especially in a bear market. This is fantastic practice for the volatility that can come in 2025. So I would highly encourage you to start to enjoy price action like this, enjoy managing a trade like this, because this will happen a lot, and your 30-minute chart is where you're going to see it the most. So the 30-minute chart here, have we confirmed up? No, we are closing above that 9, but notice it is still turning down, and we have not confirmed that on the MACD. We haven't gotten above the center line for the RSI. So the question here is, what do we see tomorrow? Do we see some kind of ramp up? Do we see rejection, or do we keep dropping? Because if we keep dropping, you're kind of getting rid of all the reversal signals here. That would be the bearish thing to pay attention to. But I believe that we might have set a little bit of even more of a trap going forward, because people were calling out calls. They're like, we need to flush this, so people really think this is going to crash. And now we have a PCC of 1.056. So I think that's what we're looking for. Now, how is that daily going to go to a new all-time high? The ultimate signal, guys, is still the SPY, is still this 2-hour chart, right? That's why we were mentioning it multiple times throughout this week. We were even mentioning it once we saw this drop from here, right? We were like, hey, if this is going to behave like a bear market, it might touch that weekly expected move, see resistance come off, and give you that divergence. All of that is playing out right now, right? I know today can really mess you up if you're a day trader. I'm not a day trader, but as far as position goes, once this does cross, I will be taking some positions to the upside. I've actually already started to accumulate some positions down in this area for the upside. So that is what I want to pay attention to when this actually does confirm. The fact that this hasn't confirmed, well, then you better be managing risk if you're trading those shorter time frames. Qs, you'll notice we're making that 2 hour, but we're trying to get back in the buy zone, which is fantastic, but we don't have the reversal signal on the MACD anymore, so we're still paying attention if this move is going to be a little bit lackluster from the Qs, but I do see this as an opportunity to go make a divergence here because we do not have those reversal signals. If we go make the lower high, we'll really be paying attention because that would say potential for a major top. When the Qs do make the lower high and the SPY actually goes and makes the divergence, that's when you see those tops. So we do have updated monthly expected moves over on Patreon as well. That link is down in the description, guys. The beginning of the month is the best time to get those monthly expected moves. I'm just going to tell you right now. We have also weekly expected moves every single week, and I'm just telling you right now, most stocks are giving reversal signals just outside of their weekly expected move with a 68% chance to land up by tomorrow. So we're going to pay attention to this right here, right? 68% chance zone. Where is the best and most likely area to land for the Qs tomorrow? Well, it's going to be right in this green box right there. So positivity would be the most likely thing. Is that going to be the first reaction, or are we going to dip down first? Well, once again, just showing you the daily expected moves. How we reach up towards it for the Qs failed. We reached down towards it for the Qs, and then we came back up. So are we going to need to build a little bit of a base here throughout the morning to trick people out, or do they have enough puts in that they can say, all right, we tricked everyone, now let's get it going? Because there is a pretty big amount of implied volatility for the Qs, so let's update those ranges for you. 517.49 to the upside. So just a little bit of a shift up there. Notice the 5. The 5 is going to be very important to take back. And then we do have 502.97. So this is going to dip us down, right? Down a little bit more. So something we should be paying attention to early on in the day, I would say, is the downside. If we can see that strength, really what I'm wanting to see here is this 2 hour be able to curl up right here with a lot of strength. Like, I want to take back that 5 tomorrow. If we can do that tomorrow, that would be fantastic. If we're going to go to all-time highs, I believe you have to still get through this area here, and that would curl up a daily chart. And guess what? You have your next daily uptrend move coming for you for the Qs. Now, you still want to be aware. Look at the daily chart. This is not necessarily the best thing in the world to see, but we can notice that we're still holding that level. So it's really more so when we break that level, we can pay attention to the bottom zone. We were able to buy back up into our buy zone today. So that is fantastic to see. So something going forward that we really just need to be paying attention to is, does the 2 hour actually confirm? I know I've said that a lot this week, and it's taking a lot of time to do so at this moment. But if you really look at this 30-minute, we've built a ton in this area as of right now. So I think an explosive move will be coming in some direction as of tomorrow because of the implied volatility increasing just a little bit going into OPEX. Now, Apple, why were we shouting out Apple and saying this is the one I would be a little bit more cautious with? This doesn't look like the best opportunity. This looks like it needs some kind of further pullback. We're going into a little bit of liquidity here, but ultimately I do think we end up towards 236.36 at some point. Is that going to be right now, or is that going to be later on? So that's something we'll pay attention to going forward. As Apple stands right now, you do not have good reversal signals for the 2 hour. You have a signal that says, hey, we could test a breakdown up towards 247.50, maybe going up towards 250, but around that area, you are going to be testing the 5. So I would be watching out for rejection towards the 5. Something we would like to see down here, if the 2 hours is just going to be able to take back that 5, is a strong base. And do we have a strong base right now? No. You have a very, very deep MACD for the 30-minute. This is why we were calling out in these areas how it wasn't necessarily the same as this, right? This gave you a divergence on your RSI, very clean. This little drop right here did not. So we do not want to expect positivity from that move. We'd more so lean towards, hey, Apple might be the riskier one out there for you because it's gone up for a long time. So that's just what we were paying attention to with Apple. You don't have reversal signals. What I'd be looking for is maybe a rejection around 250, and then that curls back down to make that strong base. But that doesn't have to make a strong base there. It could go all the way down to 236.36 before that actually takes place. So Apple's going to be a little bit of a rough one for the time being. It looks like there is more work to be done as far as Apple goes. You guys think I just drew this triangle up for fun? No, I was serious. If this thing was able to curl up here, it looked like some positivity could come, right? We're looking at that 2 hour. That 2 hour, where was that position? It was still close enough to the center line to go positive. But once again, Tesla was the other one that I was saying. It just doesn't look like the best opportunity. And if this triangle starts to break to the downside, you get a tiny little retest right here. And then we keep going. And where are we going to? Well, we could ultimately be heading down towards that 380 level, right? The breakout here, that would be very, very nice. We probably should genuinely mark that off in some way. So I'm going to mark off where it gapped up. So right there, and that is a thick, thick line. Okay. So we're going to mark that off just for now, just so we can pay attention to it. And if we get down there, we could see that as a potential zone where we want to look for reversal opportunities. So we are going to be looking for reversal opportunities, but do you see that from Tesla right now? Not necessarily, right? This and Apple, these look like the trickier ones to trade. And I think we have better opportunities out there. No reversal signals from the 2 hour. The 2 hour, if that reacts up, look for if that can reject. If we can take back the 5 and build this up over time, go into a positive trend, that'd be a good thing. The 30-minute here, do we see any kind of reversal signal right now for the 30-minute? Well, let's just look in the past, right? Right here, we saw the double bottom, nice move up. We give it up, we go negative, we break through the triangle. Do we see this over here, right over here? And the answer is no, you do not. You have a very, very deep MACD, deeper than the previous time. And so this is probably going to take some work to actually head to the upside. I would assume at least some kind of 30-minute weakness or weakness and momentum to the downside is necessary, which means I want to pay attention to higher lows. I want to pay attention to divergences. Say we gap fill and then end up turning back down. That would really give you a hint with Tesla. Things can V-shape, but it just means, hey, that might not show as the best opportunity right now. And we are pointing that out with Apple and Tesla. But don't you worry, because some opportunities are out there, and one of them is going to be Amazon. And I think Amazon is going to be an opportunity. Once again, a lot of these stocks, guys, are outside of weekly expected moves, okay? Or they're forming these things near weekly expected moves. So when we paid attention to something like Amazon, we were really paying attention to these wicks down here and saying, hey, can we build a floor off of these levels? And look at this. You do have the divergence on the MACD now. Even with the little blip in here, we see that we have the potential for a double bottom. If not, you want to call it a slightly higher low. That's fine. All you need to understand is this MACD is very close to the center line. Remember this little divergence right here, this tiny little flat one, this good one on the RSI, it's good again on the RSI all the way up, still holding it all the way through. Led to a decent size move to try to take back the 5. Now you've really created that base again with more liquidity. If we really look at the price action here, we can see there's more liquidity than before. So another good move could be coming for Amazon. Why am I paying attention so seriously if this 30-minute goes positive? Well, if that 30-minute can go positive, it's likely to curl up the 2-hour chart. Now, this 2-hour chart, you might say, hey, this doesn't look very good. The positioning of the MACD, I still want to be aware of lower highs and stuff like that. But if I really look at this thoroughly and I go look at the RSI, let's go zoom in on that for a second. That is a big divergence there. So that tells us that Amazon potentially can actually curl up this daily chart. And what do we like about that? The analyzing in that way, it's kind of assuming like, hey, this could be a powerful move to turn up that daily chart. Well, the reason that we're paying attention to that is because you don't have reversal signals in here for Amazon. You really don't have good reversal signals for a daily downtrend. Obviously, if we wanted to go lower, where would we head to? Probably some kind of breakout area towards 200 to, what was it, 200 to 220, 200 to 215. Somewhere in these type of levels would be a great zone. But right now we're fighting and trying to hold this one. So if they're going to make sure that 2-hour turns up, hey, we can see a positive move, and if the daily turns up, we are very likely to test this high, go make a new one. And that's where monthly expected moves will really help you. Imagine, I mean, this isn't the exact line. I'm just going to mark a plot here. But let's just say the monthly expected move is at 239.49. And you're going, hey, how high? You know, you come into my channel, you go, how high could this go? How high could this go? Well, for $7 a month, you can know that kind of information with a 68% confidence just for all the stocks that we cover on this channel. So if Amazon makes that daily move up, it is very likely to get to that top side monthly expected move, and you can get that over on Patreon. That's why this would be a great look. You are still in some way holding a lot of reversal signals here for Amazon, and now you can see the big difference between something like Apple and Tesla to something that could be an actual opportunity like Amazon. we're crashing, everything's horrible, this is awful, but why is Nvidia doing exactly what we talked about? Another dip down to potentially go make a little divergence by 135. We're going to check on that 30-minute in a moment, but the 2-hour crossing up is all we really needed to pay attention to, right? We're taking back the 5 again. So if this is some kind of crash, then that's kind of news to Nvidia, because Nvidia is saying, hey, A, B, C might be coming, and C, as the daily could go positive, could be a great move. So we'll be paying attention to that. We do want to pay attention to lower highs on the daily scale. Now let's look at the 30-minute. Did that have a good shot to turn around? And this is why I want you to even pay attention to stocks that just have the divergence on one of the indicators, because a lot of them are holding on the RSI. We do notice that we did make that another dip down towards 135, which we talked about. Now we're getting that to base out and see a good move, right? We're getting that volatility. You have volatility in the stock, that's fine, but we crossed up and we're going positive. So all the probabilities here are saying divergence on the RSI is going to show you, let me zoom in on that for you. This RSI divergence is telling you, hey, there is a high probability that we are going to see more upside from Nvidia, and that is the opposite of what you would think to see if we were actually going to crash. So I know there's a lot of bad stuff happening out in the world. I see story after story after story after story. Literally on January 1st, I think we had like 5 horrible things happen. You know, prayers and thoughts and prayers out to the families and everyone that's suffering due to those type of things. But honestly, if this was going to really affect markets, you would really expect Nvidia to be suffering here. So something I would be paying attention to is just, hey, if that 2-hour moves up, this actually could be a great move because that's in positive territory. Meta, you guys have heard me talk about Meta a lot lately because I think it is the best look. I mean, Meta is literally the best look, and I've said this for days now. I love the behavior of Meta right now for this to be some kind of floor. Obviously, we're paying attention to the risk. If this turns down, that's not a good thing, right? We want to pay attention to things that make us manage risk. That's why we have the managing the trade portion in the course that is on the New Year, New Me sale. 90% off, guys, to learn how to really master this type of behavior, okay? It will help you in bullish times, but the time where things can be a lot harder is when things are a little bit more volatile, aka like a bear market, and this is behaving exactly like a bear market. So why do I like this look? 2-hour divergence is holding on the MACD, 2-hour divergence is holding on the RSI. This is just a fantastic look. You're taking back the 5 after a solid confirmation above the 9 on the 2-hour here, which is fantastic. And the other part that was good about this is just look at the 30-minute. I mean, I know this is a little bit wonky down here, but if you really were paying attention to the time where you need to potentially manage risk, and then you don't have to lose money throughout all this, and then you see that curl up, you can be right back in the play without having to suffer emotionally, suffer maybe even financially with this kind of downward move. And then you sell at the low, you really convinced this is going to drop, and then it just curls back up. So Meta, I just really like the look. You can even see from the 30-minute, you don't see this often. The 30-minute is holding divergence all the way across, and that is just insane to see. So I love this look for Meta. I think it has a high probability to see a daily curl up, even with the daily divergence above you, right? We're still going to be paying attention to if that move is lackluster in some way, but this is really shaping up to be, this could be a base. We could see some kind of squeeze move like this, and then we're going to watch out for the bull trap to the upside, guys. Still be aware that January, we're going to talk about the dollar in a little bit. January, we are seeing the dollar scale up more and more. We've already gotten the trigger that has happened the last 3 major, well, potentially major tops. We have seen that trigger in the dollar, and we got that to confirm in December. So it means watch out for January, and that means watch out for traps if we actually get these upward moves. Microsoft, once again on the daily, no real reversal signals here. Now, you don't have to have reversal signals. It's just these type of stocks, these big stocks are very good at giving those reversal signals in the Mag 7. So we'll pay attention to that. But Microsoft, a lot more weakness here, right? We were talking about the potential for an ABC pattern down, really just trying to hold up in our zone with the 30-minute divergence. We get some bad news coming out and boom to the downside. So there you go. Do you have divergence here for Microsoft? No, you do not. So Microsoft is another one that's kind of in the same boat as Apple and Tesla. This one would be a risky one, and maybe I just want to pay attention to the daily swing trade as that MACD is really, really down by that center line, even going a little bit negative. So this one would be a little bit scarier, but you can notice that the 30-minute is giving you those glimpses of hope for Microsoft. So even though Microsoft looks really bad, as far as the daily scale just dropping, the 2-hour not really having the best reversal signals, why is the 30-minute going to show us this? And pretty much to me, it just means I need to watch for the 2-hour to gain a good move here. And if we're able to hold that 5 for some time, we could start to make those series of higher highs and higher lows, right? And that would be fantastic. But something just to note here, if we do see some kind of rip, right now, you're not seeing those things confirmed. We have to be good at waiting for confirmations. That's going to be a big, big lesson when it comes into bear market time or high volatility time. But something I just wanted to mention as well is the positioning of the MACD here. If we have more work to be done for Microsoft, that would mean, hey, we just broke through our buy zone and then we tap up into it and then watch for rejections. Because of the positioning of the MACD, it's going to be very hard to get past that center line in one big move. But sometimes the scariest stocks end up doing the craziest thing. So we'll see how Microsoft shapes up. I don't think it has the best reversal signals in it for the 2-hour, but I see it for the 30-minute right now. AMC, I hope you were paying attention to this because I'm going to go through this very thoroughly. We have daily expected moves for AMC over on Patreon. The link is down in the description. The 452 is the weekly expected move for this week, and this will update. We will update this on Sunday, so make sure you are subscribed. But something to point out here is, well, the daily, right? The daily is still what I'm paying attention to, right? If I'm just sitting back, relaxing, and waiting for a great signal, well, wouldn't that be a daily divergence? A daily divergence is what showed up in the past at the actual lows before this thing went nuts, and it looked a lot like this. You had a 1-2 push higher for the most part, and then you saw a massive drop that created a divergence, and right when everyone gave up on it, hey, that thing started to melt, and then eventually went nuts a couple weeks later. So be paying attention if this daily crosses up. That's the ultimate signal. Does the daily have a good chance to curl up right now? Well, the 2-hour is saying yes. That is confirming divergence, very, very steep here. So this is why a couple of days ago during my live show, I was like, the last time we had this 2-hour divergence on GME or AMC, we saw a Roaring Kitty tweet. So you're probably going to see a Roaring Kitty tweet during the new year at some point, and boom, you saw a Roaring Kitty tweet. You guys know I would rather see actual positions, not just some picture of something. I want to see positions. I want to see business moves from GME or AMC. Those are the things that can really get big players to come into a stock. So what we're paying attention to is, hey, there's a reversal signal, right? Extreme 2-hour divergence, extreme 2-hour divergence. I am back in the option play for AMC with this look. And guess what? I even got in a little bit earlier because there was even a 30-minute here. So if you've taken the course and you know what the golden setup is, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. And we see, hey, double bottom down here, divergence to the upside, extremely significant on the 30-minute, extremely significant on the 2-hour, and significant on the daily. So this is shaping up to be, I think a lot of people believe this is going to flush. We want to be aware of those things curling down, right? It doesn't have to behave the way that we want it to, especially on a Friday. But this is really shaping up to be a strong base for the 30-minute, a strong base for the 2-hour, a strong potential base for the daily to actually see the next move higher. And that I do believe that move can take you out of this flagging, and we might start to see AMC do some crazy stuff and start to close above $6 soon. So we have updated monthly expected moves for GME or AMC and GME as well. So we'll get you those updated levels for the weekly on Sunday. GME, this is bad. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not what you want to see from GME right now. You do not want to see a closing below the 9 on the daily scale. And the reason for that is because this is a lagging indicator, and this could have easily confirmed today, but it didn't. So that's key. It did not. You're still holding above the 20. You haven't confirmed it on the MACD, but look at the divergence on the MACD in the opposite direction of AMC right now. So this is going to be a problem for GME if that confirms. You are very likely likely to take out 28.35. And if you start to take out 28.35, you could revert all the way back down to that 200 before you actually see the next upward move. So just be aware of that. If you are doing options plays and stuff like that, you have to be reacting to things like this. The shorter time frames, as far as it goes, the 2 hour is still in positive territory. So this is a big reason that I'm happy that that daily didn't confirm down. Right when it looks like it's going to confirm down, what if the 2 hour just goes like that and then we see it never look back? So the 2 hour is still positive. We saw a little divergence for the 2 hour, kind of flat, a little bit, I would even say up for the RSI. So not a great reversal signal for the 2 hour, kind of flat and a little bit down actually for the RSI. Sorry about that. Kind of up for the MACD. So we're paying attention to the fact that this is still positive. We need to take back that 5. You see it trying to do this little roll moment right here. You want to take back that 5. You want to continue this positive trend, and you got to break through 36.16 to the upside. So that'll be what I'm paying attention to for GME. If you look at the 30-minute, we do not have any reversal signals. This seems very, very controlled right now. And when it's controlled, you want to be paying attention for that 2 hour to cross back. You want to see if we're able to take back the 5 in some way and hold it, especially on a Friday. If this thing is, I'm just being genuine here, if this thing is able to close above 32, above 33 on a Friday, and then it starts to close above 35, 35 is the most key level. If you can close like this, you actually might see some margin calls come in for GME for those short positions. So just be aware, right? When everyone starts to sleep on something, it might mean there's an opportunity. Now, we did say opportunities are out there, but we still need to be aware of the risk. Like if I was an investor at this point, do I really want to play some kind of little 4%, 3% up move for a lot of stocks? Or would I rather take my risk out of the market and be like, hey, we just triggered the sell signal that popped up back in 2022. We went into a bear market. It popped up in 2020 right here when we actually had the COVID crash. And it popped up again right here in 2018 when we actually saw a little bit of downside in 2018 with the rate raising and rate cutting. So we'll pay attention to the fact that this has a red line here. So we need to be watching January very closely. Now, something that I'm watching is the daily, right? We're still watching this daily signal. We're starting to violate those divergences. So that's a big deal. Now, it doesn't mean that the dollar can't continue to go up and the market goes up with it. But what do we know about the dollar going up and the market going up at the same time? That is trap behavior. So if we start seeing all-time highs and the dollar keeps screaming higher, I would be very cautious holding things for long term. Now, the monthly scale here has crossed up. Do we have any signals that suggest that this could fall down, aka maybe people are going out of cash and into some assets? Well, we would see that would be, hey, look at the divergence there. We still have it on the MACD. We still have it on the RSI all the way across. It's just not looking the best anymore. So that means this could be lackluster. This could be a quick move down and then just curl right back up into positive territory, maybe wipe out those divergences. So I do think we're going to see some kind of reaction down from the dollar. I'm aware that can head up. I'm not going to trade the dollar. And the reason that I'm really thinking we might actually start to head down is because of the 4-hour divergence, right? We were mentioning this throughout the week this week, just saying, hey, you're potentially going to see a 4-hour divergence to tip over that daily chart. And we're starting to form that divergence now, right? We mentioned it down in here. Okay, awesome. We're seeing it move up. Now we're seeing the divergence point. Can this confirm back down, or is it just going to go up? So we'll pay attention to a lot of things with the dollar. We usually like to go over the dollar on Saturdays. So make sure you're tuning into Saturday, because that's when we look at the bigger picture and really start to pay attention to, hey, how are things shaping up after this week's price action? What should we be paying attention to going forward? And how could this hurt us? Where are they trying to trap us? And that's where monthly expected moves and paying attention to the dollar really helps. Let's go check on volatility. Some very interesting things from volatility. Notice the 2 hour still hasn't crossed. When was I saying that most likely we are going to see this go down towards 12.12? Well, it's when this 2 hour is able to cross down. And I think you're going to see a moment where this thing really flushes and then you start to see divergences pop up down towards 12.12. Now, I've mentioned that before, but now I really want to be paying attention because the 30-minute, it's not showing the best look on the MACD, but I just want you to see the divergence between all these levels here. And if I really pull it out to an hourly, you're seeing it very cleanly here, cleanly on the MACD, cleanly on the RSI. So if an hourly crosses down tomorrow, you are very likely to cross down a 2 hour. If you give up the 5, I think you're very likely to take out this little blue trend line here and then end up down towards 12.12. So right as there's a flush in selling, right as we see people's emotions get to them and go towards the put side at a potential low, and we know the risk of of these things are out there. We know that the dollar has triggered this, but if this is triggering and we're going to see really, really bad downside, we're going to have to wipe out all of the reversal signals that I just showed you throughout this entire video, right? It wasn't just on the SPY. It wasn't just on the Qs. It was also on like 5, 6 big stocks, with a couple of them just saying, hey, we need to pull back a little bit more. So I just highly doubt that we're making all these reversal signals and then we're going to see a crash, unless we're going to see some kind of black swan moment. So that's what I'd be paying attention to. But going back over to the SPY, just wanted to give the main takeaway. The main takeaway is still this. The 2-hour has not confirmed the move higher. So this is why I was stating earlier in the week, hey, I could sit around in this area and let the 30-minute do what the 30-minute wants to. I know it'll probably give me a divergence, maybe a triple divergence. You end up getting a triple divergence, and or I could just sit, be patient, let all this happen, enjoy my New Year's, and then watch that 2-hour cross up and go, okay, we're back to the bull side, and we're likely to make that uptrend to where the monthly expected move. And that's how powerful it can be. That's how at ease it can make you feel with a trade setup if you're just patient and you have an actual target that's based off of data. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry for the malfunctioning YouTube stuff today. I'm sorry that I woke up last night a little bit sick and I didn't sleep. So I actually passed out for a few hours, and I feel much better. So thank you guys for the well wishes, and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for liking this video, subscribing. You guys are fantastic. If you guys want to learn a lot about why I'm not freaking out with all this price action, well, then you might want to take the course down in the description. The full technical analysis course is 90% off right now. You can literally learn how to actually tell this kind of stuff that I'm telling you right now. You can learn it yourself. You can use me as your buddy that you just get a second opinion from during our live show. If you just know this information, it can really help you out now, but it will help you infinitely more if we start to go into a bear market. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything you guys are doing out there in the community. Thank you for getting us to 10K in 2024. And let's go steamrolling into 2025 with a nice long live stream tomorrow morning. All right, guys, peace out.